Hi friends, my name is Lindsay Bishop. I'm based in Washington, D.C. I am a corporate girl, I'm a fitness instructor, I'm a content creator. I like to think of myself as a jack of all trades. Excited to be here and create my channel. I really want this to be focused on helping others, and all I'm really wanting to do is share my experiences and make sure that I can at least help somebody who's in similar shoes. I'm going to talk a little bit about my background, how I got into the fitness space here in DC. Everyone's journey to getting to where they want to go with fitness instructing is so unique. It's so personal. We have to backtrack. Dance will forever and always be my first love. Shout out to Savage Dance Company. Absolutely love to just like run around and like shake my body around. Enough so that my mom was like, she needs to go take a dance lesson. So I did that. Thank goodness I did. I started to get really hooked on it. I wanted to audition to be a part of their performance team. So I spent 3 years on their performance team, and then I bumped up to their company, which is their highest level of competitive dance. So I traveled for a total of 6 years between competitions, spent pretty much all waking hours after you would go to school in the studio. And it was a really solid foundation for a lot of the work that I do today in the fitness scene. The people I dance with are so insanely talented. I'm talking NFL cheerleaders, Taylor Swift backup dancers. These people are living in New York and LA. They're getting booked for shows. Like, they are incredible. They have the drive, they have the passion. I, at the time when I was 17, could not see myself going that direction. I don't think I'm cut out for it, frankly. I went to school at the University of South Carolina. I could make a whole separate video about the time there. I did audition for the dance team. Did I make it? Absolutely not. I got cut after like 2 rounds. It was not good. But you know what? A for effort, we tried. I have a great college experience. I graduate, I start to work in the real world. I moved back up here to DC after school. I land my first job with Hilton Hotels. I'm like, here we go, let's adult. Yeah, adulting slapped me right in the face. I started working my 9 to 5 at Hilton. I just felt like something was missing. I didn't feel as fulfilled. I didn't feel as joyous. I didn't feel as motivated. And I just really was like, what am I missing? That's where this journey begins. Probably about 3 years, just doing a 9 to 5, clocking in, clocking out. I was doing well, lacked self-confidence. I didn't feel like myself. It was such a weird point of time in my 20s where I think I was really struggling with not fully taking care of myself. Describe this moment as almost an epiphany of like, holy, I need to get it together, or else my trajectory of where I want to go is looking downward slope-esque. And that's just not the vibe, okay? I'm so grateful. I had a friend encourage me to go out and try a CycleBar class. In a second, I hit the bike and we started to move, and I started to really feel like assimilated in the environment. I started to realize like, oh my gosh, this is making me feel like dance did. We have the music, we have the rhythm, we have the high energy, we've got the lights. Like, holy crap, this is so fun. The feeling I got when I was like, oh my God, like this is what's missing. I need to like step up and do this for myself and really create a consistent routine, and let's see where it goes. Like, really took it seriously for the first maybe 115 classes. I really went in there, and although at that point in time, I didn't really think that I was going to be an instructor. I didn't know I was going to be an instructor. I went and I really enjoyed the classes. I created my schedule, I created my routine, and that felt like structure, and it felt like something that I really needed in that time of my life. I started to gain a lot of confidence back. First of all, I was getting in great physical shape. I was starting to look better. I was starting to feel better. My energy levels drastically improved. Once you kind of start to see those results, you're like, okay, I want to keep going. I want to keep seeing what this will take me to. I think people around me started noticing as well. I was getting more invested into the cycle space, and I truly loved it. I will never forget one of my close friends, Sarah. I took her to a class, and after the class, we sat in her car, and I said to her, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to be a cycle instructor. Like, it just felt so clear to me. Like you have this like internal like feeling, and you feel like you have a message, or you feel like you can help people be better. You have to give it a shot, okay? You can't just sit back and do nothing. This feeling. Like I had this unstoppable feeling that I had to do it, genuinely unwilling to stop, straight up. I had not an idea of where to start. And so I just thought, let me talk to someone. Definitely was pretty shy at this point, but I felt like I had enough of a rapport with one of the instructors. I messaged her on Instagram and just said like, hey, I'm really interested. I don't really know where to start, but could you give me any suggestions or advice? CycleBar is actually really great because they have their own designated training program. I went out for my audition. They basically were looking to see if I had the basics: rhythm, personality, and I think really just looking for like that coachable type energy. Showed up and basically there were probably close to 15 other people in this open audition. You go up, you teach 2 to 3 songs, and then from there they kind of like denote like yes or no. I practiced so much the couple of nights before leading up to it. It was nerve-wracking. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out, okay? Basically, I'm spiraling before this audition because I'm so nervous and I want it so badly. So happy I heard back. I got passed through, which was fantastic. And from there, you basically go through a close to 6 to 8 week online only virtual boot camp. Now, they may have changed this because this was during COVID a few years back, so it could have changed by now, but you go through all of this training, like live calls, really just like enablement around the brand, how to program classes, what you should and should not do. And during this whole 6 to 8 week period, you're working directly with one of their master instructors or senior master instructors to submit videos of you writing a couple songs at a time and demonstrating that you are picking up what you are learning in these trainings. And it's an unspoken expectation that you should be writing. You should be taking as many classes as possible. You should be integrating yourself, if you haven't already, in your fitness space or your community, and really starting to build rider relationships because it will help in the long term. From that point, I was really, really trying to remember as much as I could, learn the foundations, and then bring all of that together and package it for a class. Submit and film a 45-minute class for CycleBar. You submit it to corporate and they pretty much say yay or nay. So if you get the yes, you then progress to your team teaches with likely your lead instructor at your studio or your franchise location. And then let's say those go well, you get great feedback. You then typically will go into a set spot on the schedule if they have it at that point. Now, you're not always going to get on the schedule. For example, there are plenty of situations where you go through the process and there may not be an open time slot on that studio schedule. So you're basically at sub basis for whatever amount of time it takes for you to get a solid spot. I had one class on the schedule and it was a Monday at 12 p.m. and it was a 30-minute express class, and I had once a week and that's it. But we always have to give ourselves a little bit of grace. Whenever you try something new, you really can't expect to be like the top instructor or in the top group of instructors, whatever it may look like. So I spent 3 years at my first studio. I basically built my classes from 5 people all the way up to wait list of 25 to 30 per class. And no, that is not an exaggeration. That was really the tea of what happened. I'd love to create a video if you guys are interested in really talking about how I grew my rider base and how I took my classes from 5 to wait lists of quite literally 20 to 30 people. I'd love to talk to you about that in detail. But for now, let's keep to the schedule because I'll yap all day long. I decided that I wanted to move studios. I am currently a founding instructor at HUSTLE DMV. They are cycle and strength classes. Now, I initially went out to be a cycle coach. I had never really taught a strength class. And I was like, that would be really cool if I could teach a different modality under one roof. That's super cool. I'm not getting that currently at my old studio. A very different style than what I was writing before. I say this because when you are looking and trying to identify where do you want to coach, where do you want to be, you need to think about what's going to push you, what inspires you, what style that you resonate with the most. I went and I auditioned, and this process was a little bit more intense. So with HUSTLE, There were 2 open audition dates. You got invited in and you basically went up on a stage with a bike and you had 2 songs of your choice to get up there, giving like dance audition energy. I had 2 songs and I was the first one to go and I put what I could do out there and that was kind of it. That the riding style at Hustle was a lot more physical, a lot more athletic, and just completely different. I make the first round of cuts. There were about 10 of us who got asked to move forward in the actual training process. And what that looked like was every Sunday for about 8 to 10-ish weeks, we would show up and ride. We would typically take a class that was happening on the Sunday morning, and then we'd all stay together for 2 to 3 hours and focus on the different elements of the ride programming, the brands, what we wanted to stand for as a founding team. Really had to be mindful of how much I was coaching at my other studio while I was going through the audition process, because I kind of kept it hush-hush that I was auditioning and going out to teach at this other studio, which is a whole nother situation. Another day, another video, I will explain all of that because it's tea. After about 8 to 10 weeks of like getting to know each other, like moderately well, I would say, not very well, but like moderately well. We all had to do what's considered a community ride or test out ride. And so you market yourself, you bring people in the doors, you get them excited about the studio. It's really a time where you're meant to shine and you show them what you got. I was so insanely nervous. Can't mess this up. Don't mess it up. I trained really hard at that point just to make sure I was like ready to go. And a lot of like the physicalities of the ride, like being able to run out of the saddle at a 128 BPM for 30 seconds to a minute was something that I was not physically used to whatsoever from my days at CycleBar. Display to the studio that I had 100% the capabilities to help them crush it. My ass had to be out of the saddle for 30 to 60 seconds at a 128. So trust me, it was scary, but we did it. I was one of the 6 founding instructors, which was super exciting. I think it's so different. It's a different beast to want to take the challenge to build something from the ground up. It's something that I really wanted. So anyway, I've been coaching at Hustle now for almost 2 years. I think we're approaching 2 years ago is when I did my audition, which is insane. And we really have been intentional about growing our studio space. It's so rewarding, and I'm really optimistic to help them grow. My biggest advice is if you have that feeling, you have that, I really want to do this, and you feel like you're ready, I want you to really think about which community you fit into and see yourself being a part of, because different modalities of fitness, but what is actually going to bring you the most joy? If you are doing this for reasons outside of a paycheck, which I hope you are, I really would encourage you to think about, what could I do almost every single day and not get paid for that brings me joy, and then find what makes sense. Highly recommend networking in person. If you have a local studio who you know who the owner is and they're in the studio a couple days a week, talk to them face to face. You can always intro yourself through a warm Instagram message, but get there, get in front of them and talk to them face to face. That goes so far. Make sure wherever you decide to audition at, you know the style and you know the brand and you really understand the clients who are there, what motivates them, what gets them to come in. I think that's something that's really important to understand. The other thing that I will say about this endeavor, there are a lot of unspoken like politics and things that go along in the fitness space. I wish there wasn't, but the reality is there is. So hearing no is not something that is uncommon. In fact, most people get told no when they audition. Keep showing up, keep trying. If it's meant to be, it's going to be okay. Coaching fitness is one of the most rewarding things, and I've done for myself in my 20s. I don't think that I would have been at the point where I'm at today, where I'm a founding instructor. I have amazing partnerships with top global fitness brands. Like, it's insane. Like, what is my life? I don't even know. Leave a comment, like this video, subscribe if you want more content similar, or just like don't. Subscribing is way cooler. Subscribing is the best way to show me that you like this content and you want more. I love you so much. You guys are about to be the baddest fitness instructors in the game.